Hi friends, welcome to Azure Content YouTube channel. This is part 2 in SQL Real-Time Scenarios playlist. In this video, we are going to learn how to get the total number of transactions and the sum of transactions by each customer. So let's see the use case in details. So in the previous video, we have learned how to get the latest transaction date by using group by function and by using the aggregate function called max. And in this video, we are going to use the same transaction table and we want to fetch the number of transactions by each of the customers and also the sum of the transaction amount by each of the customers. So you can see there are 4 customers, customer 1, 2, 3 and 4. And if you see the total number of transactions performed by customer 1 is 1, the total number of transaction count by customer 1 should be 2. Okay, so this is the output I want. Similarly, for customer 2, you can see customer 2 has performed 1, 2 and 3 number of transactions, and that's what I want in the output as the customer transaction count. Similarly, for customer number 3, customer ID 3, there are 2 transactions. You can see there are 2 entries for customer 3. So we want the transaction count as 2 for customer 3. And for customer 4, you can see the customer 4 has only 1 transaction, and that's what we want in the output. So this is one particular column that we want to create in the output. And then the second column will have the total amount of the transactions by each of the customers. So basically again we need to group by and we need to get the total sum of transaction amount by each of the customers. So you can see for customer 1 there are 2 records, the first record and the third record. So to get the total transaction amount by customer 1, we have to add the transaction amount by adding the amount after grouping by using the customer ID. So in total it will be coming as 325 for customer 1. Similarly for customer 2, if we add the total transaction amount of these 3 rows, that is this one and this one, we should be getting 870.75, and that's what we want in the output. Similarly for customer 3 and customer 4, since customer 4 is having only one row, only one entry, so it will be coming as it is. Okay, so even if we group by, it will have only one entry, so the sum of the total transaction amount for customer 4 will be 260. Okay, so let's try to implement this using SQL query. Okay, so this is our table, so let's start from transaction table. So if I run this query, you can see there are 8 entries in this table, and this is the same data that we saw in the PPT. And in our previous video, we have written this query to get the latest transaction date for each of the customers by using group by on the customer ID. So on the same manner, we want to fetch the total number of transactions by each of the customers. Again, we need to group by customer ID. Okay, and we also need the sum of total transaction amount. So in the same fashion, we will write select customer ID, customer underscore ID. Okay, we want customer ID in the output, and we also want transaction count and total amount. These are the 2 columns that we want to create. Okay, so first of all, customer ID we want, and then transaction count. So to get the transaction count, we need to use count as the aggregate function, and we need to group by using the customer ID itself. So before writing the count, so let me do use count of customer ID, customer underscore ID, and let me give the name as total as transaction count. Okay, transaction count. Okay, this is the first column that we want, and let me fetch this column first from the transaction table. Transaction table by grouping on the basis of customer ID, again customer underscore ID. Let me first run till this point, and you can see, let me remove this control KC. I have commented this particular query, and let me run these two queries to get the output. And you can see this is the table, and you can see the results, and we are getting the expected result, right? Let me compare here. 2 3 2 1. Okay, 2 3 2 1 for customer IDs 1 2 3 4 respectively. Okay, now we are good with the column transaction count. Now we want to fetch total amount. Okay, so to get the total amount, we will use something called sum function, and on top of transaction amount we want to sum up the transaction amount and get the total transaction amount by each of the customers, and we are already grouping by using the customer ID. So let me execute this query. Okay, so we have not given any alias to this column, so let me give that. I want to give the name as total amount. Okay, okay, so now let me run these two queries, and now you can see the result is as expected: 325.50, 870.75, 610, and 260. So basically we have grouped the data on top of the customer IDs, and then we have used the aggregate functions like count and sum so that we get the transaction count and transaction amount by each of the customers. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you find this video helpful, and I hope you got to know how to use the aggregate function like count and sum on top of group by function. So we will see more of the real-time scenario videos related to SQL queries in upcoming videos. So please stay tuned. Thank you.